So we're going to use the Fantasy Pros ADP over the first, PPR over the first 3 rounds. So let's get into this first round right now, my man. And one of the things that obviously is going to be a big debate is who is the number one pick, Laquan? Is who are you taking? Are you taking Bijan? Are you taking JaMarr Chase? Are you taking Saquon? I think those are universally the three options. And in PPR leagues, the number one, kind of without question, according to ADP, is JaMarr Chase. What do you think about him as the number one pick?
I like it. I mean, you going with an offense we know going to throw the ball 650 times, and Joe Burrow is his quarterback, and obviously the chemistry they built is unmatched. Like, I don't think we've seen better chemistry like that for a very long time. I mean, it makes me think of Matt Ryan and freaking Julio Jones and how they was cutting it up in those years. So it's like it's something that's going to be like consensus, like a no-brainer here at 101. But personally, I like Bijan at one. Like I'm just a Bijan guy, bro. Like I just feel like it doesn't matter. Like I'm not going to scream at you. You come off the board with Chase, and I land Bijan at 2, or vice versa.
I feel like they're both. You could obviously Bijan's going second right now in the same conversation, but with Chase, it's like you have to kind of respect what he did last year. He's a receiver. He has that upside for those elite weeks, those 40, 50-point weeks, which everybody covets. And he's part of a very high-powered offense as well. So I think if you were going to lean to JaMarr Chase, like you said, it's nothing worth arguing about because I think you could go either way. It's your pick at the top of the first round. As far as me, I'm with you. I'm on Bijan Robinson's side here. I think we could see a Saquon Barkley-like season with the pass catching, with the touchdown work, just with what we saw with Michael Penix as a starter. I think the one question I have for you is JaMarr Chase. I had concerns about him over the first couple seasons. Like he was getting banged up. And obviously, like he didn't see the full season. It was him that was hurt, Joe Burrow that was hurt. Are all those questions now gone and we can forgive JaMarr Chase because he had the season he had last year, or should we still be thinking about that?
No. Hold up. You don't forget anything like that. See? We don't forget Joe Burrow was banged up a couple weeks and them games was looking real ugly for Chase. Like folks forget. No, heavens no. You keep that in the chamber and understand the decision you're making. That's why I'm cool with Bijan as the one. I don't really have that many like memory banks about Bijan of where he's hurt my team several weeks, like we know when Burrow was out, what Chase was working. We know what Chase banged up those weeks that we're not hitting those 20 fantasy points that we're used to, like I do feel like, again, I'm not going to argue with whatever the other, but you never forget things like that, bro. It goes into your decision making.
You can't forget that because, and especially the things that made you hesitant on them, because I did this a couple of years ago with Travis Etienne. And I was like, nah, he got more workload and he started fading. Like I noticed that in his first 2 years. And then his third year, he popped off. And I think he was like a top 3 running back that year. And I was saying, fade him in the 4th round. Well, he popped off and I was like, damn, maybe I need to like kind of rethink my process. And I was really going through like, damn, why did I miss on Travis Etienne? Because it felt like he was a player you should fade.
Yeah.
Sure as shit, the next year, now we see a lot of the same things that I had concerns about the year before, they happened again. So I think with JaMarr Chase, it's not that I'm concerned, can he be the wide receiver one? I think he deserves to be the first pick off the board, but I'm not taking him there because of concerns that I have. And he also has a lot of big games and some drop-offs, some massive drop-offs outside of those big games.
He'll put up 11 strong points. In a game, he could put up 30. Nah, dead serious. Like, you cool with it? Like, all right, don't do this next week because you're going to have some issues.
What about Bijan? So just real quick on Bijan, obviously both of us like him. What was your thought process on making him your number one running back or your number one player, so to speak?
Number one player off the board. Just with Zach Robbins, we spoke about who's on the sticks and how far he falls from the McVay tree. And there's just always a clear understanding of getting the ball in your player's best hands. If it's Drake London, if it's the emergence of Kyle Pitts or whatever, but Darnell Mooney, this offense is going to be explosive and they're going to want to go downfield often with Michael Penix at the quarterback position. I mean, a 10.2 ADOT. This is his average target of where he's placing that ball in the receiver or pass catcher's hands. And we know Bijan, he ran the most routes last season among all the running backs. So we know he's going to be involved in that vertical attack. And we know with that ball in his hands in open space, it's a house call. It's the upside of a house call in this type of offense for Bijan is going to be freak level, like type of video games this year. Like that's how excited I am about Bijan. And that's why he's my number one off the board.
Yeah, I'm with you there. And I think one of the things we saw last year once Michael Penix got in there is like they were using him in the red zone. They got rid of Tyler Algier. So that was no longer
Yeah.
this epidemic that was going on. Can he be? But I think a lot of people didn't realize the first half of the year, he was kind of mid, like dealing with an injury himself. He was mid for us as fantasy owners. And then when things turned up, we were like, oh shit, this is what we were expecting out of Bijan. And
Run
we
that
didn't
back.
see a whole lot of one thing last year that I think we're going to see a lot more of this year. Than big plays. We didn't see a whole lot of like 50 yards, 60 yard, 70 yard. And that's what he's known for. He's known to being able to like rip one off. You talked about it. And how's that thing? We didn't actually get to see a whole lot of that out of this offense last year. So my thought with Bijan is we see more big plays, more touchdowns, and just more success overall. That Saquon Barkley like upside, which doesn't happen very often for running backs to get 1 or 2 years like that. I think it's Bijan's time.
Facts.
Yo, we have talked about top receiver, top running back, and they're not the names that we've expected, right? Justin Jefferson used to be in this conversation, and he's a third player off the board right now.
Yeah.
JJ McCarthy's in at quarterback, no longer with Sam Darnold. You think Justin Jefferson deserves to be the third pick off the board?
Yes. I think, we're not discounting him how we were discounting him last year. Let's get that for straight. I'm cool with that 3. Last year, he was falling to like the 7, 8. You know what I mean? That 7, 8 pick is where Puka and Nabers is at right now.
Yeah.
Like you might be making that same mistake, but at 3, you're just taking the chance that you're hoping KOC, Kevin O'Connell, has that guru touch on this quarterback. And they feel strongly confident, even with the Aaron Rodgers rumors. Like when big media heads were reporting it, like they were sitting cool, calm, and collected, dropping videos about JJ working out, him doing interviews, and the whole little mini dark villain arc era or whatever trailer that was that they posted with him. Like JJ's their guy, and they felt confident about that even last year, drafting him over, playing him over Sam Darnold. So like there's something about this kid that they feel so confident about that he'll be able to dish it out just like a Sam Darnold, it maybe if not better. So I feel like, just as long as the system is there and there's an understanding of the culture and everything else of Justin Jefferson's our function, he's our operation. He's always going to have that high target share. He always has that high ceiling of just taking it to the house, doing something like his catches last year. You start going back in the catches the year before. It's like you don't know which era this is from of just crazy highlights. So that's the type of player he is. So like I really don't have no worries about JJ.
It's one of those things we've seen him with bad quarterback play. So the team invested a first round pick in JJ McCarthy. Unless you just think he's going to be ass, he's probably going to be a 3,000 to 3,500 yard passer, which is on brand with about where Sam Darnold was and a lot of other quarterbacks who have been in this system were. And the people who play under Kevin O'Connell, it's like he is the one calling plays. You think he's not going to lob him up to his guy, Justin Jefferson? I mean, 150 targets at minimum. He's going to see 100 catches, probably about 1,500 yards. It's just who he is as a player. So I think the upside is probably the one thing he doesn't have that JaMarr Chase does have. But as far as floor, I think Justin Jefferson is probably the safest 1,500 yards in all of football. So for me to get him at this 3 spot, the only other player I'd be considering here is Saquon, maybe CeeDee. But I think he's a little bit safer than CeeDee Lamb. So for me, I like getting Justin Jefferson in PPR leagues, 3 receiver leagues. Justin Jefferson here at the 3rd spot, I think is right.
That's a blessing.
What about Saquon, though? Madden cover. I mean, he was on a tear last year in this Philly offense. They're running it back, same core. Saquon at 4, CeeDee, Jahmyr, like Saquon at 4. He could have been the number 1 pick.
Now, I said on here before, I'm still standing on that, in the middle of July where I'm not taking another running back in the first round if it ain't Bijan. And I feel like the reason why a lot of this Saquon talk right now is happening is because recency bias. It's what we've last seen. We're not putting in consideration of how much football this dude just played. Like he just ran for 2,000 yards. I mean, we've seen the greats, the legends, the Barry Sanders, the O.J. Simpsons. That following season, there's a drop off in production. You know what I mean? For a reason, because that's playing a lot of football. So I think, maybe we get more scoring opportunities without the tush push. Maybe they change it up. But I feel like it's going to be one of those things like if he gets hurt in the first 4 weeks, you're hurting right now. You took him at 4. Yeah. You could have took CeeDee or another wide receiver because when you come back on that second round, let's say you fade running back there, you're going to be in a tough spot when it comes to these running backs. And I think this is why when we hit previous episodes before talking about that running back dead zone,
Yeah.
It's going to be wicked out there. It's going to be one of those things you're going to be sitting tight. Like, I should have just listened to the tea leaves, man. Like, that's a lot of football.
Yeah, and you go and you play through the Super Bowl, all those games, like that's you get banged up. And I talked about this before, probably with you, is that's a long stretch, and you want to make sure as the Eagles organization that you're going to be having Saquon Barkley when you play in the Super Bowl next year. That is your plan. Your plan is to defend your championship, and that's why you go sign AJ Dillon. That's why you get Will Shipley in the draft. You want to take some of these carries off of Saquon Barkley, and I think they'll utilize him. But we typically we see these running backs, they have a great year, and it's very tough to follow that up with another year. You made a really good point about, say he gets an ankle injury or a hammy or something like that early in the season. He takes a couple games off that he didn't have to take off last year. That does impact who you got in that round. And Saquon already, because his offense is high powered, he was more shoddy than we realized. Like he had some down games last year. So for me, I don't mind taking Saquon here. I kind of like taking CD right here instead. Or hoping that, Bijan falls to me, or maybe somebody else takes, Jettis falls to me. But Saquon, he's a tough pick to trust right here. I think he's earned it, but I don't know that I draft him a lot here.
Yeah. I could tell you 100% I'm not taking Saquon at 4. Like,
you're taking CD instead? Because CeeDee Lamb, bro. So,
but here's what you just said. You could take CD, or in that scenario we just talking about, that Justin Jefferson falls to us, or Bijan falls to us. That's like the no-brainer right there for me, So it's like I'm not taking Saquon at all.
Well, you said CeeDee Lamb. CeeDee Lamb gets his quarterback back. Dak is healthy again. And they brought in George Pickens. So we've seen CeeDee Lamb over the years be this target volume. He was in consideration for the number 1 pick last year. CeeDee Lamb obviously gets his QB. This offense has gone through a little bit of an overhaul. Are you still trusting him to be like capable of this wide receiver 1 spot? You still trusting him to be 1,800 yards? You still trusting him to be 130 catches? Like, where are you at when it comes to CeeDee Lamb?
I mean, yes, I'm talking like this year's 1,600 yards should be the floor of what this offense could be now. Adding Pickens, the floor, like 1,600 yards, where CD has shown us and proven to us that he could put up 1,700 yards, like the rest of them. He could be a JJ. He could be in that conversation with JaMarr Chase. That's why he's going this high in drafts. Now we're getting a more efficient, let's call it that, Cowboys offense, where they're going to be more lethal in scoring in less time. They're going to be more lethal in areas of disguising some of these plays, with George Pickens now added to this. George Pickens is a threat just by name. Okay. Yeah, your second best corner, your undrafted free agent corner, is not going to be able to stop him. He now has to work. It's not Turbin. It's not some random off the street they pulling in to act as the wide receiver 2 and your main guy on CD all day. No, your main guy going to have to come over here and check Pickens, because Pickens is getting these balls 60, 70-yarder bombs. Like, this is what this offense can be, but CD is still going to be able to produce at a high level efficiently, because they're going to have to check Pickens. So what this is happening, bro, is like CD going to be having crazy games.
Crazy, bro. Especially out the slot, because they're going to put him in the slot, and he's going up against slot corners. That's where he was doing all that damage.
Well, you think that safety going to come down and try to do it, and Pickens going to go dumb, bro? Like, it's playing out in front of us.
And, you got 1,300 yards, 1,700 yards, and then 1,100 yards in 15 games last year. It's like, it's the same CeeDee Lamb. It's really, does he get the touchdowns? And having another receiver on the outside is only going to help him, in my opinion. So that's why I think for him, it's like him or Saquon at that number 4 spot, maybe Gibbs, but him or Saquon really for me. And I find myself wanting to take CeeDee Lamb a little bit more than Saquon at that spot. But Gibbs, though, I mean, had an incredible finish to the year last year. And now Gibbs is one of those players where, like, you need to take him. He has the upside, but, like, do you take him over Saquon and Bijan? I think that's the big question.
I think you could question Saquon and Gibbs, rightfully so, because, again, there's still that consensus unknown. What does this offense look like? What does this offense look without Ben Johnson? How are the running backs going to be deployed? Monty has been banged up, a couple of times. So I think maybe we're seeing reports that Gibbs is getting more utilized as a deep threat, a vertical threat, getting moved around, coming out of the slot and all this other stuff. Like, they want to use him more as a passing threat, but this may be more workload on him as well. So there's the side of where, like, there could be upside, there could be a downside of this. But I think at the end of the day, I still like Gibbs over Saquon, though, just with that youth, that home run upside, and just the operation of that offense.
I mean, I can't debate that. I can't debate it. And the thing is, I have Saquon. I don't know why the floor seems a little bit easier for me because when you change the offense around, things happen as well. So no more Ben Johnson. You lose Frank Ragnow. It's like, okay, maybe there's some changes in this offense. David Montgomery is back now. For me, there's some question marks, whereas I look at Saquon and I'm like, pretty much everything's the same. And outside of them potentially like limiting his workload as the season goes on, Jahmyr Gibbs has the upside, but I think we need a David Montgomery injury to see the full capabilities of what Jahmyr Gibbs can be. So I'm not mad at it, and I think his passing workload is still going to be there, 50 to 60 catches, somewhere around there. But for me, I'm a little more cautious when it comes to Jahmyr Gibbs.
That might be low right now thinking about it, bro. Because if he's getting talked about now wanting to be more as a vertical threat, I kind of believe it, you know?
Yeah.
Because I think they want to air that ball out. So I might have to raise him up now in the rankings as we live talk about it.
Yeah, as we talking about it, sometimes that shit matters.
Crazy. Yeah.
This next three picks. Puka, Malik Nabers, Christian McCaffrey. Who's out of place for you? Is there any of these that are out of place for you? Because I'm not feeling these next three, and they all kind of go very similarly as far as ADP wise.
CMC, bro. Like, we got to have this conversation.
Really?
Like, I am not willing to burn here, right here.
First round is tough.
That's what I'm saying. I was cool when we was letting him slide on the early, like 201. I'm cool. Whoever at that 12, you go ahead. All for you. But now, this is where people gonna get up there like, yo, CMC over Puka over Nabers. Yeah. They could talk themselves into why. Devontae Adams and Puka, yeah, nah, cool. Oh, Russell Wilson is trash. Winston's trash, and we don't know Jackson Dart. Cool. You can literally hype yourself up to get back on this CMC train. When look, bro, in the last year, this boy got married, had a kid. He just led the league in touches 2 years ago and said, I'm cool off sailing. I am about to be out of here. You know, he's telling us. He is telling us, bro, I am cool off this CMC price, bro. I'm going to let the fancy streets chirp, Bart talk. I am anti-CMC, bro.
It's not even, to me, it's like, you know, you're injury prone. And I hear everything you're saying because you're saying is valid. It's like a lot of times you don't even think about the off-field stuff, which a lot of times that matters in fantasy more than we want to admit. The off-season, off-the-field stuff matters.
Bro, we adults. We grown up here. We've been through life and know how some of these things work. And
I got 3 kids, bro. So I'm like, yeah, that should affect me here. I'm looking at the clock like, I might have to get off this stream and go make some dinner.
Bro, I got dinner going right now, bro.
But but it's not even just that. Like, he's only had 4 healthy seasons in 8 years. How can you be my first pick if you have not been healthy for half the time you've been in the league? So you're only taking him up here because of the upside. But the upside is him playing 15, 17 games, and he's proven half the time he doesn't do that. It's such a wild card for me. In the second round, if I already have an established pick, cool. If he falls to me in the second, I'm much more likely to take him in like mid-second. But for me, Christian McCaffrey, first round, they don't go together, bro.
This is why we here, bro. And whoever tapped in, please take these gems and understand you're getting equipped with all the ammo and tools to win your leagues this year, bro. Tap in. This is crazy. In.
I would go start a little Puka tangent, but I don't want to spend another 5 minutes on why I'm fading Puka, especially you're a Rams fan, so you know.
Well, how about we do that for the exclusive? We'll talk about that on TikTok.
We'll talk about that on TikTok. You're right. We're going to be over there in just a little bit. But
I'm writing it down so we can get back to it too.
Hell yes. So this back half of this first round, though, it's Ashton, Jeanty, Amon St. Brown, Derrick Henry. So for me, when I look at this, the eyesore here is obviously Ashton Jeanty. And that's the one player he's going right now is the RB5. That's the one player I have so many questions about. And I brought this point up multiple times. You know, if you're going to take Ashton Jeanty, what numbers do you have attached to that? Because if you don't have realistic numbers, why aren't you taking Derrick Henry with 1,900 yards and 16 touchdowns? Those two are going back-to-back right now. Jeanty, if he hits 1,900 yards, would have one of the greatest rookie running back years ever in history.
Ever.
He's out of there. And I'm like, that's actually one of the best running back years in history, and we just got that out of Derrick Henry. So for me, that's one of the big eyesores here, and I do have a little bit of concern about Amon St. Brown too.
I think we are, brother. I think we do. With that knee getting cleaned up and the podcast, and he outside, bro. he's outside. But I do think, if it is a slow start and you take him here, you have recovery redemption at this point of the draft. You feel me? You have recovery redemption. You take this risk. Scared money don't make money. Just wrap around with Drake London. Wrap around with Brian Thomas Jr.
Get
Like,
some
you
other-
have a safety net here to make this wrong or right. You know what I mean? So that's why I'm not even like gonna like get into a battle if you go Jeanty or Brown here, if you go Jeanty if you go Brown or Henry, because it's like I want an elite wide receiver. It's been proven in the last 2 out of the 3 years with Ben Johnson, this boy's been a top 5 fantasy wide receiver. So it's like that holds weight, brother.
It does, and this first round, you go through these players, and most of them don't have like huge question marks, or maybe if they have question marks, they have huge upside. So let us know your guys' thoughts right now, Quan. If you had a first round that you wanted to go through, real quick, if you can, first round you want to go through, top 12 picks. What's your first round looking like? Or you want me to go first?
You go first.
First round. If I have my first round pick. Here's how I would draft the first round of fantasy football this year. I go Bijan Robinson, number 1. I go JaMarr Chase, number 2. I go Justin Jefferson, number 3. CeeDee Lamb, number 4. Saquon Barkley, number 5. Jahmyr Gibbs, number 6. Malik Nabers, number 7. Brian Thomas, number 8. Malik Nabers, number 9. Devon Achane, who we haven't talked about yet.
Ooh.
Number 10, Derrick Henry. Number 11. Did I say AJ Brown already? Drake London? Those are my last 2. Number 11, Drake London. And number 12, AJ Brown. That's my top 11. Or top 12, excuse me. Let me know what y'all think.
That's pretty dope.
Did I miss somebody? I feel like I missed somebody.
Let me see, man.
Did I break up on that? Or
I'm trying to think. Nah, you didn't.
All right.
I heard you on the back end. Am I still good?
Yeah, you good. You good. Better now.
All right. So 1, we agree is Bijan. That's a lock. 2, Chase. Debate, argue with yourselves. 3, I'm going Justin Jefferson. Blessing. 4, 5, I'm going Nabers. CeeDee Lamb.
Ooh, okay.
6, I'm going Puka. 7, Barkley. 8, Gibbs. 9, Drake London.
I like that.
10, Amon Ra. 11, Henry. And at number 12, AJ Brown.
Yeah, I see. Ooh, damn. So hold on a second. Bro, hold on a second. So hold on. You said Malik at number 4?
4. Yeah. Number 4. You know why?
Write that down.
Number
go ahead,
4.
Go ahead and write that down.
Number 4, because we got to look at Russell Wilson. Even if Russell Wilson gives us 8 games out of the 14 we need, right? This is a core time in your fantasy season right here, trying to get to the playoffs. Russell Wilson was 2nd in completion percentage on deep targets, right?
Okay.
On a air yards per game, Malik Nabers had 109 yards per game, which was 3rd in the NFL, right? So they obviously have a want to get that deep ball connection to Nabers. This is what's going to put him in this freak tier conversation this season with Russell Wilson. Because if he connects more on these deep balls and he creates more of these big plays on a deeper route, like when the A-dot increases, we already know what's about to happen to the yards production. Malik Nabers could have 1,700 yards this season with 2 different quarterbacks.
He's got to get the targets and he's got to get the completions. Because when we talking about Nabers too, like he's obviously not just a deep ball guy. It's going to be there. But like you also got other guys on the team, Jalen Hyatt and shit, man. Like, I don't know.
Well, listen, he gave us 1,200 yards last season with Tommy DeVito. That's it. He had 1,200 yards, right, with Tommy DeVito. I'm telling you now, when you add this long ball to his game with Russell Wilson, these numbers are about to be video game. Because it's going to be like he just had 110 yards in the first freaking half. You're going to be like, how? Because he had a 70-yarder bomb.
But who has Russ ever took to that type of level target wise? Like the thing is, he'll spread it out, or his ADOT is crazy, but that means his attempts are going to be lower, right? He's not going to be a volume passer. I don't get it unless Russ becomes elite. Like unless we're just missing the mark completely on Russell Wilson, and he's still, which I don't doubt that he's still a good quarterback.
I'd say the last year he had in Denver, I hold, right?
Okay.
Statistically, it was not a terrible season. There was just a lot of up and down that season, for obvious reasons. Russ can still play the game of football. Russ didn't have a Nabers last season. He had to deal with Pickens and Calvin Austin. He now has Wan'Dale Robinson to dump it off. He now has Tyrone Tracy and Cam Scatterbo to dump it off. High check down percentage. Now you have Nabers that can do anything and everything in the goddamn playbook and turn a little catch of little yardage into a very large one into touchdowns. This is all you need with this system with Russ to operate decent. That's why I feel as though he would at least give us 8 games, because we have to have real life factor into this. If they losing, they're going to rip him out.
This might be a cold ass statement. This might be one of them I look back at and be like, damn, Jay, why you say it? But talent wise, I don't know that I think that there's this like crazy discrepancy between Malik Nabers and George Pickens. Talent-wise, I don't know I think that they're both good with their body, can both catch balls downfield. Dexterity is there. Both have good hands. I don't know, outside of the volume, like if Pickens was in that same scenario last season that Nabers was in and had 200 targets or 180 targets, whatever it was, they're very similar receivers to me. Like George Pickens and Nabers aren't that different to me.
That's a crazy take, brother. and here's why.
Nabers is better, but they're not like that much different to me.
No, they're different in terms of what they can do, right? Not saying Pickens can't turn a 20-yard catch into a 60-yard touchdown. I'm not saying that. But what I'm saying is that at a higher rate, you can get that out of Nabers versus a Pickens, right? Because Pickens will disappear from games. Nabers will show presence in games that he should not have presence in. You know what I mean? And he'll end up having like goddamn 10, 11 targets. That is the difference between the two. To me, like it comes down to everything on the table when you're looking at the two wide receivers here.
Let us know what y'all think about that Nabers and Pickens and Nabers in general as the number 4 pick off the board for